Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Technology Tuesday hosted by Out of the Box Technology. We're really excited to bring you these weekly free webinars that introduce a little bit more about us here at Out of the Box Technology, the solutions that we offer you, as well as hot topics around the industry. And we also hear from some of our favorite partners. So thank you for joining us today. My name is Jennifer. I am in business development here at Out of the Box Technology and happy to be your moderator. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please go ahead and send those over my way, and we'll be happy to answer those throughout the session, as well as we'll have some time for a Q&A at the end. A little bit about Out of the Box Technology. If this is one of the first times that you're joining us and you're not too familiar, Out of the Box is a QuickBooks consulting firm. We have a whole team of consultants that do QuickBooks training, setup, integration. We have a hosting team, a whole bookkeeping group, and we also have an apps development team that works on website design, custom app development, data migrations, and more. So for today, we are looking at our custom reporting solutions, and on the line with me today is our reporting specialist, Mike Christensen. He has been working on a lot of different projects with us, and I'm really excited to have him on the line today to kind of dive deeper into what he does here on the reporting side at Out of the Box. So Mike, with that, I'm going to make you the presenter and let you take it away.
Okay. Sounds good. Let me get rid of this here a little bit. Okay, as she said, I'm Mike Christensen. I'm an independent software developer who works with Out of the Box. I create reports for clients that need reports that generally can't be created in QuickBooks. I'm doing quite a bit of profit and loss budget versus actual reports using QuickBooks calendar month basis data. This application I've created goes much further than that. This application will show you the power of Alpha 5, which is my software development tool. Create a user-friendly interface and create reports that very few other software development tools can. Alpha 5 connects to QuickBooks, retrieves the data, and then stores the data in its own database. Once there, I can manipulate the data any way I want. Alpha 5 also has a very, very strong report writer. It's comparable to Crystal Reports. If you've heard of that, it's usually the go-to reporting software, but actually Alpha 5 in many ways is much better. The reason I even considered creating this application that you're going to see is that I was told by a pro advisor that it could not be done. Of course, I had to do it. It's my nature. The application I'm going to show you is one that will create profit and loss budget versus actual reports. It's a very popular report. Get a lot of call for it. This one's going to be a very special one, though. It will work for most scenarios that QuickBooks has been set up for. You can do this for any fiscal year, either a monthly calendar year, like you're used to in QuickBooks, or a 52-53 week basis. For those of you who are not familiar with the 52-53 week accounting, I'll explain it a bit later. The application, it allows some user customization, not only to how it will pull data from QuickBooks, but also how the reports will appear. And although this application can simply represent a monthly P&L budget report, today I'm going to show you the 52-53 week report. You can even have or be using a month calendar year accounting system, and you'll still be able to create these reports. That's something I don't think any other application can do. Usually you have to have an actual 52-53 week application or accounting tool that you have to enter your data into. And again, this is something I don't think another application can do, and this negates most accountants' objections. They don't like going to a 52 from a month one. There's inherent problems usually. And I know that many businesses, they would benefit immensely from the 52-53 week calendar. They don't incorporate it because their accountant has too many reservations. There's also the IRS will not allow many businesses to go off the calendar year basis. The beauty of my application is it allows a business to continue to use whatever their accountants or IRS requires and still get these 52-53 week reports. There's no reason why a business can't have it. Businesses that should be using a week-by-week comparison, which is what a 52, 53-week reporting is. Restaurants, retailers, bars, basically any business that involves inventory. And what you see here that you've been staring at, probably wondering what the heck it is the main menu. But before going through anything here, really, I need to explain a few things first. Is, in case you're not familiar with the 52, 53 week accounting system, basically it's one that separates the year into week segments. And you can do this many ways. I've accounted for all of them, I think. There will be either 13 4-week periods, or there will be 4 periods of 13 weeks. And there's 52 weeks in a year. Problem is, and I'll get to this later, there's an inherent problem which I've cured as well with this system. That's one of the drawbacks that they always say when I've done some research, and I've cured 2 of the biggest drawbacks that this system has. All right, they can, the 4 periods of 13 weeks, you can have a 4-4-5 week, which is 4 weeks, 4 weeks, 5. That's 13. And or a 4-5-4. These are the periods I'm talking about. Or a 5-4-4. I don't know if any of you are accountants, you've probably heard of those. I've coded for both 4 weeks, which is right here. And I've also coded for the 5-4 or the 4-4-5 down here. So you get both of them. And what that does, the drawback of having just this is that there are many times you're going to have 5 weeks instead of 4 weeks. And so it's not going to, week by week, you can compare them the right way. But when you have 5 weeks instead of 4, it's not going to come out right. Or that's where this would come into play. You can choose 4-week periods. Instead of going 4-4-5, you can use this because it groups it in groups of 4. It's going to be apples to apples. Part of these also, a lot of softwares, they'll have just compare by week right here, and this. They won't have this. Other ones will have compare by week or this. So they're always lacking something. I have both of them, and you can pick and choose however you want to use it. A 52, 53 week system. It uses weeks that start on the same day and have the same number of days for comparison. Say a week. And it enables you to show exact comparisons. Month-to-month comparison systems, they start on a different day usually, and a different amount of days. You can't compare them accurately. Also, 52 weeks only adds up to 364 days. Each year, the starting date will fall behind a day, except for leap years. So after 5 or 6 years, an additional week has to be added, making the year have 53 weeks. I've made it possible to exclude the 53rd week in reports if you don't want it. That way you can still compare everything. And you can compare a 53rd week to the first week of the previous year. You can do whatever you want with this. And all of the applications I've seen for 52 week accounting, they'll have the user download a template for the upcoming years to show the starting and ending dates, because it's not going to be, if you started on January 1st, this year it's going to end on December 30th. And yeah, I'll get to that when we go to the preference form. In fact, I'll go there now. Shows you how to go through it. And this form right here, really, you go into it once, set it up, and you probably will never have to go back into it again. You got to pick a day. Say, and this is arbitrary here. I'm using sample data. Let's pick Tuesday, January 1st. And you don't have to read all this. I'll just tell you. You got to pick the day. It's going to be the number would be the earliest number that you would ever see. And what that'll do, it'll make it a 53 week. Because what that 53 weeks does, it moves up the ending date to the 6th. And every year, this will go down a day. Next year, the ending date will be on the 5th, then the 4th, then the 3rd, 2nd. When it gets to the 1st, we'll add another week. It does all this automatically. You don't have to touch a thing. And you don't have to download templates or anything else like everyone else has you do. It's all done right here. Basically, like I say, you just pick a date and use the calendar over here and pick a starting date. In this case, it lines right up with January 1st. It has a calendar here. You can pick whatever you want. And the fiscal year, you're going to make sure that it matches, because there's a lot of times you're on a system that's already using a 52, 53 week. The starting date might be different. It might be in December, and the fiscal year might not match. It's just changeable if you need to. But once it's set, it's set. You don't have to worry about it. It'll be updated automatically at the end of the year. You'll change all these dates, change the fiscal year to the next. And along with these right here, this is the pre-population center. It's basically, you have no data yet. Who wants to wait to build up your data? Well, this will pre-populate years for you. And you can pick out how many years you want to have drop down. Like if you had just, usually 3 would do it. And what this will do, whoop, not that, sorry. You can pick, it'll create 3 dates behind if you pick 8 down here. It'll create 8. And these are the dates automatically created. You have the first here. When you pre-populate, the prior year would have started on the 2nd. Prior year to that would have been the 3rd here. So it's going to create, let's say it'll be on a Tuesday. All these dates are on a Tuesday. And that's the main criteria. It's going to land on the same day every week. That's why it's so important for restaurants, inventory, things like that. Inventory people would like to have it year end on Saturday. That way they can do inventory, you know, without interfering with the weekly sales and stuff. Right here, once you populate, which I populated 2 years or 3 years already on this, and it shows you the beginning week now is 4 out of the 53 weeks, because I've already populated 3 of them. And this button right here is to show you what has been populated so far. Reason for that, I figured sometimes QuickBooks, if you have a lot of data, it takes a long, long time to get the data. I mean, if you have a lot, we're talking gigabyte worth of data, 2 gigabytes worth of data, it can take an hour if you do the whole complete year. So if you leave off somewhere, this will tell you exactly where you left off. And you can pick any beginning week number and ending number for the number of weeks in the year. In the fiscal year, make sure the fiscal year coincides. And you simply pre-populate the data. It'll go through, refresh, get data from QuickBooks, and bring it over. Here, you can use classes. You can use inactive classes if you want. You might have to do that, I suppose, for previous years that didn't have those classes. I just added it in. Somebody had requested it one time. Also, before pre-populating the data, you'd have to choose your budget type. You know that, you know, most people set it up on accounts, but there's also, you can set budgets for classes. You can set budget for jobs or customers. And so it allows you to do this. And down here, this setup message, I'm not going to go through that. It's something that'll appear when you don't have a company. It'll tell you to go to the preferences. It'll bring you there if you want. Number of weeks back. This is important simply because when you're refreshing, what it affects, when you pre-populated, the next week, get done with the week, you refresh and post the data. Well, it's going to go back the number of weeks. Oops, almost closed that out. It's going to go back the number of weeks that this says. What that does, a lot of people will change an invoice. Even though it's already been created, billed out, they'll go back and change it. I've had a customer that goes back 8 months consistently to change it. Well, hopefully nobody here does that. But you can change this to however number of weeks you want to go back, because if you change an invoice consistently, say within a week's period of time, some figure that's okay to do, well, this accounts for it. That way you'll always have the correct data. And these are defaults that'll show up on the menu. Use the current week. And that'll be up in here. And the default now is set to no. But if you put the default check the box, it would always show up as a check mark. Also up here, you see You can add a company, edit it, delete it, and show you there's multiple companies in here. I have the option set at I have the 52, 53 week, multiple company files, auto refresh, and class. I'm doing this by class. We'll also do it by job or by nothing. Here you got the report settings. Again, a lot of defaults in here. Use 53rd week. You might want to do that all the time or might not. That just sets the default again on the main menu. And here, the year-to-date choice, because you can show it, and you can do that on the menu, but this will give you the default. You can show it by the week, the 13-4 period, or the 4-13 period. That's 4 groups of 13, 13 groups of 4 for weeks. You can change, you can add these report titles if you want. Company name if you want, or this is automatically inserted. Or you can put it down here and check the box. The creation date will automatically be created. You can enter anything you want in here and it'll appear on the report. This right here, so far, it's static. You can't change it. This and the created on is static. You can get rid of the static if you want it on the report, checkbox, don't want it to disappear. And but this is static and it'll change with this is just a typical one. If it's a year-to-date, it'll say year-to-date weekly comparison or whatever it is, whatever report that's brought up. I have a lot of reports that you'll see. I get to them down here. Where'd the heading go? That's odd. I've been working with this morning and I must have hidden it. This is for the annual budget right here. You can show it by percent, show it by variance, or not show it at all. And this right here is, you can have just a plain report with just amounts, or you can show the budget fields underneath the amounts, showing for each week what the budget is. Even though the budget, you might be budgeting for a month, it'll come across as a weekly budget. It's already done for you. If you have $900, or no, say $1,000 a month for each week of that month, it'd be under $250 because a lot of months have 30 days. It figures it all out, puts it on there. You can have the amount, you can have the percent, or the variance. This right here, if you do want to auto refresh at night, people do if they have a lot of data, it takes a lot of time. You can set this up this way. This is shown with multi-companies. If you only had one company file, didn't go for this option here, this wouldn't even show up. This right here uses Windows Task Scheduler. Now, every Windows that I've ever known still has it. All the servers have it. Terminal service, they have it too. And this, instead of having to go into Task Scheduler and knowing how to do it, some people don't even realize what it is. It's something that Windows has built in. It'll schedule things hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, and this creates it for you. You just simply put a name in here, choose weekly or daily, choose any. I just have these. I figure these are the most popular, and you can choose what days it's on, how many times it occurs. You can go all the way up, once a year even, but it'll appear week. In this case, I chose Saturday. And here, this will bring you right to the task schedule. You can actually see everything there. Okay, get out of this. Okay, pretty much it is. It'll show you what week you're in, what period you're in. I have to add something to this later. Show you what the last week that was posted, last time it was refreshed, and whether you use current week or not in the refresh. It's right here. Here's your users. You can pick whatever you want here. They'll have different settings. All the settings for every company is independent from the other. And so everyone can have different settings. Use 53rd week or not. Here you can have reports by class, or account by class by account, no class at all, in case you wanted to see it without a class. Regular comparisons, whatever years are populated, will drop down here for every year. And here I just, I don't know, I might just have this show all the time. It shows the dates of the weeks, because you're not going to know what's the 16th week? What dates are those? I couldn't tell you offhand. This will tell you right here. I'm showing the dates here. And if you have wanted to show it for both years, you'd show it there. Current year. Down here, these are 13 4-week periods. And there's groups of 4 weeks. There's 13 of them. That's one way that they set up a 52, 53 week software, is they have 13 4-week periods. Here you can choose any or all. Generally, it'll tell you what's in here. And this right here, if I ran it, it'll tell you that it's not populated completely yet, but you can still run it if you want. Because we're still in, we haven't completed. This one right here would have to be 4 weeks completed. Here it's for 13-week periods, more analogous to quarters that you used to, except they're 13 weeks worth, a little bit more than a quarter would be. And this right here would actually be analogous to a month. Down here, year-to-date format, showed you that in the preferences, and you can choose whichever end, however you want it to be presented. I'm going to show you a simple report. Sure we're on the right file here. This is the filter module. This is another option. Some people don't even need it. They just want it all the time. And what I've done is I created various options to keep the price down on people that don't need much, but to give people what they want and not give them what they don't want. You can pick and choose. I have a list of things I'll show you at the end. It'll show you pretty much the costs. There's a lot of future improvements, a lot of things I've been working on lately. You notice on classes, pretty much this is all you can filter on. You got class, account type, accounts. Now, if you had doing it on job, you'd have the customer job, account types, and counts. You notice there's a blank here. Now, I've seen this many times. People will forget to put it in. Sometimes it's necessary. You want to have a blank there. It doesn't belong to anything, but you still have it as a, in the records. But reporting, good reporting bad data will float to the top really well. And if you had a lot of blank ones, you can just run the report for blank, find out what they are. It makes it easy to find. And you can select any or all here. This right here is another option, really. It costs almost as much as the filter to produce. Sounds simple. It saves any filter you want to save. I've had a call for it where people will, like for new construction, say every time they wanted a report special, they didn't want this shown on them. They wanted it on the other ones. So you run a report, you could save it. Put a name in here, save the filter, and then next time this filter comes up, all the boxes be checked. If you wanted to do it for new construction, you use that report all the time. You load the filter, whatever you named it, it would show up like this. You'd remove all the check marks. If this is the sample data, I'm going to select them all. And it won't mean much because it's sample data. Like I say, this is what it looks like. And I did put that title in there. I didn't have the creation date. But right here, you basically have, there's no budgets, whatever else. This is simply the amounts, what few there are, the total of the amounts, everything. And then at the end of the report, the grand totals and everything. And I'm going to show you one with the budgets for preferences. And where am I at? Percent. Use account budget fields. Okay. Now this should show everything there. Again, there's no budgets. No suckers. Total other income. I hate sample data. I really do. One thing I want to show you also, clear these to 0. So you only had a few reports in here. You don't want them all to the right, a whole bunch together. You can actually do this here. For aesthetics, you can have them separated just by the spaces. You don't have anything in there. why that budget data is not showing. I'm going to check and check that box. Like I said, I've been goofing around with this quite a bit last night. Just a little sample map. Okay, there's budget fields. Okay, let me try it one more time. If not, budget fields, I'll show you exactly where they would be. It's terrible. There they come. Oh, I didn't save it. Budget fields will be right underneath in white. You look up here, you have this color for that, white for this. Now, if you have 2 years, the prior years, and I'll show you that, it'll be 2018 here, say. You can have 2017 if you have data, or 16. You can choose whatever you want. They have a different color, and the budgets will be underneath them. And again, it'll show the totals of the budgets over here. And this separates it out. On a monthly basis, this is the annual budget. On a monthly basis, it'll be a little different in here. This is only showing 3 weeks. This is the total of 3 weeks. But if you multiply, if you figured it out, you take the number of days here, 21, and they've had 31 days in a month, which you did there, 21, 30, 31sts, you would have, it would come out to here. Okay. I'll show you a quick one here. And here, like I say, you have different colors for that. That way you have, this doesn't show any data at all. Probably the next page. Yeah. You'd have 2019 year here with the budget, 2018 year here with the budget. You can't do a side by side, not get 13 columns. Real estate, it's not like an Excel, it's a vertical reports. Again, yeah, it's the annual budget, the over, and this is sample data. It doesn't show it correctly. And everything is 100% virtually. It's like, yeah, right, you're going to keep right on budget like that. But gives you an idea what the report does. This is separated by classes, whereas you can also go class by account. You got the accounts, and the classes are all underneath. Now, the thing is, you got 6 reports here. Actually, you got more than that. You got 8 reports here. You got, weekly, 14 or 13, 4/13 period. You also got current year to date. So that's 8 reports here. But also you can change, change it to group by the 4/13, change it to group by the week and the year to date. So it gives you a lot of things you can change automatically. There's no changing of the reports other than what I showed you in the preferences. I think these would be adequate for most people. But then you have the options. This is pretty much what the program is. Makes it look simple. Believe me, it wasn't. But that's something that Alpha can do that I've never seen any other reporting software can handle. Crystal Ports definitely could not make a report like this. No way. I want to show you the options. Now, right now I have it separated out, like I say, just to give people what they want, not give them what they don't want. You have a base price right now, it's $5.95 for a month. Doesn't really have any options. 2 to 3 week, more involved. It's that. Then you have the options. You need a filter. The one I showed you without the save, 100. You wanted to save, add the other 100. Class or customer right now is all I have. Either one would cost 300 to have either one of those added on. Now these right here, future option. I want to do that. It's a future one that I'm planning to do. Have them both. Multiple company files, the auto refresh, automatic email and reports, which I have it over half done, maybe 3/4 of the way done. Matter of fact, I'm going to make it so you can actually mail out invoices for various things. Import profit loss, it's a possible one. I've had a couple of calls for it where they had QBO, and they wanted this report, didn't want to pay the fee every year or two for the driver and stuff like that. They exported it to CSV. I have it. It's in there. It's in the application, but I haven't done much with it. Budget module. Some people want to create the budgets outside of it because it's more easily changed. Use it for forecasting, possibly. You can change it within there. That's in the process. It's almost done. Here, eventually, it's about 3/4 of the way down. Also, a user-defined filter module. You can change the height of the boxes, width of the boxes, where the data comes from, font, you know, a font size. You know, so how many boxes? You can go 1 box up to 12 boxes. It's mostly done now. And it's done automatically through user interface. And budget types. That's something that is possible too. Allows the use of all the budget types concurrently. Don't know how I'm going to do it. I think it can be done. Or you can use, you know, accounts and classes, and accounts and customers, which is jobs. I have noticed through clients they use both of these in QuickBooks. And this right here, this will probably be one of the first things I do is a company consolidation reports. If you're using multi-companies, well, yeah, you'd like to see them consolidated probably. That will be coming, this one right here. And possibly a forecasting module. You know, but if you got all options that are listed here, this is what it would be right now, currently, for this whole thing. Believe me, this right here, this price right here, that's what a fully customized single report costs. So I'm selling this in a way dirt cheap. But it gives you a lot. But again, it's canned. You might need some customization. And the thing is, this can be customized. The application itself can be customized. And I can create custom reports. Modifying the reports that are in here, somewhat. They're pretty involved. Very touchy, because they have a lot in there. But yeah, anything can be customized and it can be added. What I want to do also is to create some generic boilerplate type reports that people most generally would want in addition to these, not just profit and loss budget versus actual, but some other ones. And sell them cheap. But then those can be modified and be a lot cheaper than having me create a custom report for just that. If I have it there, customize it, it's a lot cheaper. So, but the options, like I say, there's all kinds of options there. And I don't know, does anybody have any questions so far?
Thanks so much, Mike. That was really awesome going through all of that. Currently, I don't. Sorry, go ahead.
Boring as a lot of people, but
no, I think it's something that's really helpful and useful, because sometimes
people don't realize something like this. Like I said, I was told by a pro advisor. In fact, it was Lisa, or co-founder of Out of the Box, that it could not be done. That's why I had to do it. And it was an interesting project. Definitely, still is. But it has value. I've seen a lot of things, and a lot of research, and there's a lot of businesses that would like to go on this, but their accountants say no, because it's a headache. This way, they can keep their QuickBooks accounting software, do your monthly, year-end, and everything else in QuickBooks, but you still have the 4-week reports for them. It's all there. And you don't have to change anything. You can use it. So. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. I mean, you have such a wealth of knowledge, so I appreciate you continuing on and diving a little bit deeper. So, but yeah, like you said, I mean, sometimes people are of the mindset that it's not there organically, and so it can't happen. But I love that you're proof that it can happen, and it might take a little work. It might take a little digging or working around it, and really, spending some time. But really, there's a lot of customers that come to us looking for specific reports. And I know that you've shown that it's not always impossible. So we appreciate that, and appreciate the time that you've taken today to kind of show what you've built here. So that's really excellent.
Well, another thing too is that, and I can still say it, it'll catch me sometime, but you know, and Lisa said that to me that I could not do it. I had to. And so far, I've been able to create every report that QuickBooks, if the data is there, I can create it. And so far, so good on that. You know, I've only been doing this about 15 years. So I guess time will come when I can't say that anymore. But I also create, you know, with Alpha, it gives me the power. I can, anything that somebody does in Excel, anything somebody does in Excel, has to export data from QuickBooks to Excel. I can do it within my program, usually a lot cheaper. If it takes you any time at all, I can create it with a push of a button. And EDI files, electronic data interchange files, where you have to submit data in a very special format to reporting agencies. Even the state of Michigan has one to report 401, I think it's 401k, or payroll, unemployment, something like that. And it had to be a very special format. And it's very complicated many times for people to do it. It takes them forever, and there's mistakes. Well, I created push of a button. That's my whole deal, push of a button. That's all you want to do. You don't want to have to push too many. One or two buttons, done. You know, so.
Absolutely. Now, are there reports kind of that people oftentimes come to you for that they need, you know, modifications on or customization? Like, is there kind of like a trend at all, or is it really case by case?
I'd say profit and loss budget versus actual is a big one. That is a big one. Sales by item, detail. That's another that come in second, I think. You know, reports that sales by rep. And I use customer sales by detail there. But,
now,
those three right there.
Yeah. Now, do you have like templates or downloads and anything that you can just send off to people, or do you really prefer to work one-on-one and kind of really dive in to see what their needs are to tailor things specifically?
It's so hard to create a generic. That's why QuickBooks doesn't have these reports. Back in 2012, they said that they're an accounting software. They're not a reporting tool, and they're not planning to make too many more reports ever. And there's such a generic application, it'd be hard for them to do it. And generics, this right here, if I was to create this for somebody, a report for somebody, little application like this, and just do it for one person, it would take me less than half the time of creating a generic. In a generic, I got to do so many more things to make it so that I guide the user through things. I have a lot of error trapping in here. You can't do some things. I can't allow you to do what QuickBooks does, because QuickBooks allows mistakes, and I will not have that. You know, that they do not guide the user enough. They allow too many ways to enter data. And so the thing is, to make a generic report like these profit and loss budget ones, very difficult. There's just too many ways that people enter data, or they don't enter it in and you have to find it somewhere else. So a generic a lot of times would not work for people. This one here though, pretty much profit and loss budget versus actual. It was one of the few ones that I can make generic, because it's all pulled from the profit and loss budget versus actual report. Other ones that they want, it involves either a report plus a table and things. They might not enter the information in there, and I got to find it elsewhere. It's pretty much customized every time. Each customer is a little bit different. I do minimize the cost on it. I can use what I've done before, extract some of it there and modify it or whatever else, so they don't get charged the entire price every time. I don't think I charge a customer the full amount of time it would create from scratch in many years, because I've done it so much that I can use an interface, say, for an EDI. I can use an interface for that sales by customer detail, and then modify it to meet what their needs are. You know, so it costs them probably $400 or $500 less than it would if I was to create it by scratch. So I have templates that I use for myself, but there's no way I could give it to a customer. It wouldn't work. Wish it could. This is one of the few that would. I'll look for more, but this is one of the few that I can make into a generic application, at least.
No, I think that's great though. Like you said, just it might take more time to do something generic though, right? Because there's so many if then do this, and if it's this, then do that. But that could also be confusing for the client because they might not be sure what applies or what doesn't apply or what data should go where, right?
Yeah, and it's a point that the programmer makes a generic application. You're going to sell it a lot cheaper than you would if you did the whole thing. This right here would probably cost, oh geez, $6,000 to $8,000 for one person. I would say at least, could be more. I don't keep track of my time anymore on it. And I keep adding features. That's the problem I have. I keep adding features before it was completely done, you know, and I cut myself off recently. I'm going to get it bulletproof. Then I'll add all these other features. That's why they're future features, not being incorporated now. The more you add, more complicated it gets. You get it bulletproof first, then you add the feature, get it bulletproof, add another feature. Like I said, the next one I'll be adding would be the consolidation of the multiple companies. Absolutely. And I know that that's something that somebody or everyone would probably want.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
I just added in the ability to choose various classes. Almost every client that I've had, they always set up a class just by account. But recently I've been having quite a few that set it up by class, and some that set it up by class and job. So I got that. I have that option now where you can choose, you know, one at least right now out of the three right here, you know. And I'm thinking possible I'll make it so you can use 1, 2, or 3 in combination. We'll see how it goes. But before I added that, I got to bulletproof it completely. There's a couple little glitches that you guys didn't see. Well, there is actually that one for some reason. It did not save this box. I'm going to keep that up to remind me. It's a simple fix. I don't know why I missed it. It didn't save it this time. So I'll fix that. No problem. But, trying to think if there's anything else I can say on this. I do have a couple of thoughts I got to recontact because now that I've made this, we had an interest in it before as far as jobs needed to be instead of by class, they went to jobs, and I did that a long time ago to really contact them about it.
So if someone is interested, Mike, in having you develop a custom report for them, I know they should reach out to us in the sales department and kind of work with either myself or Donna to really dig into what they're looking for on a high level. And then we would put that potential client in touch with you to really get further into it. Can you talk a little bit about the process once a client is handed over to you as far as what they would go through to sort of get the solution?
Yeah, the main thing is that if QuickBooks has the data, and I can get the data, I can get most of the data out of QuickBooks. QuickBooks is a very unusual software. It does not allow complete access to all the data to anyone, not just my software. It doesn't, third parties, they treat us like a user. It only gives us so many. There's like 140 some reports in QuickBooks. We have access directly to 93 of them. I can get report data. And it's a good thing we can, because I cannot get budget data at all out of QuickBooks directly. I have to go through the report data to get it. They don't allow us access to that table. They don't allow us direct access to a lot of tables. But so far, I've been able to create every report. If the data is there, generally, I can make any report. So long as it's not subjective, that you're saying, well, I can look at this data and I know it's this person. Well, there's got to be a way to figure it out. So if you need a report done, contact Out of the Box. Give them the specifications, pretty much, what you're looking at, what report you're looking at, possibly combination of reports, extra fields you want. Give them that, and if they do that, and it's clear enough, basic reports, I can give a quote right away, to you guys, Out of the Box. If not, I will have to talk to the client. I'll need to have access to a client that knows their data and what exactly they want. just to make sure of a few things. I also need to know what version of QuickBooks they're on, and if they're on a server or not. That makes a big difference. Servers can be complicated. Windows 10 can be complicated. Whether they have an IT person, that's important. There's permission issues with Windows 10 and with servers. And if they don't have an IT person, it will cost more. It will definitely cost more because I have to do it. I'm not IT, but I've had to learn how to do a lot of these things. It can be involved. And a lot of IT people don't know certain things about their own software. It's incredible. But so yeah, I need to find out a lot of the specifics before I actually give a quote. But that call usually lasts 10-15 minutes is all. I just need some additional information here, and then I can get a quote out within a matter of a few days or even that same day. So, after that, what happens is if you go ahead with it, I need a portable file with an admin password because QuickBooks treats us like a regular user. When you log into QuickBooks, create a new user, you have to log in as admin. Single user, that's what you have to do too, to give my software permission to access the data. QuickBooks doesn't give us direct access, treats us like a user. So you're given a third-party app. It's in the edit preferences part of QuickBooks called integrated applications, and that's what this is. It'd be an integrated application that you have to give permission to use. You don't have to do it the one time. The driver that it connects to QuickBooks, it's free with enterprise users. That's why in that little document I put for enterprise QuickBooks users. You can purchase the driver if you're only Pro or Premier. It's $150 a year so far. It's been like that for years and years. It's a third-party driver I use. So we have Alpha Software. I create a project with it. We use this third-party driver that connects to QuickBooks. So you get a lot of software going on. That's another thing I got to find out is you have to have a fairly modern computer. It doesn't need at least 4 gigabytes of memory minimum. I prefer to have more than that, but 4 will do it because these are intense programs. You have QuickBooks running, Alpha running, and the driver that connects Alpha to QuickBooks. Very intense. You can make that Windows not responding come up anytime you want and all that means, it doesn't mean that it's not running. It just means that window is not responding. Well, yeah, because there's something running behind that confuses a lot of users. But after that, when I go to portable file, then I can see actual data. I've only done one report, maybe 2, 15 years I've been doing it, that I did not get a portable first. It was a very generic, very basic report. Generally, I have to have a portable so I could see the data and make sure for testing and things like that. And after I create the report, then I send samples, PDF or an Excel file, however they want it produced, and they verify the data. Once the data has been verified, then I'll put the application on their computer, help them install it. I usually allow about an hour of time to do it. If it's an IT problem, it would be extra. Generally they're IT. Generally, most IT people can get through it on their own. Then there's testing. You got to verify it. I don't bill out of the box or anything else until I make sure absolutely that it's working. And once it's working, it should work forever. Once it's any application I've built that's worked for a month flawlessly, if something happens, almost always somebody new is entering in data, or they used, something happened there with the data. Sometimes QuickBooks data gets corrupted. There's ways I know to cure that too. Usually once it's working, it'll work for years. I got one project that guy's been using it over 10 years. Still using it today. Never a hitch. So once it's done, what's nice is no errors. It's, especially when I'm creating files and things like that. When you're taking something and exporting it to Excel, there's always user error. Whether it's numbers or just forgetting to do something here or there, and then you're actually looking at incorrect data. So you got to look at the cost as a whole thing. It's not just how much time you spent creating something. What about the mistakes, and what about the mistakes you don't catch? That in itself could be costly, especially if you're dealing with payroll, things like that. an employee would be really ticked off if his 401k was wrong. So that's pretty much it. Timeline, I don't know, basic reports. I can usually get something back to them within a week or two. The actual testing and everything else, I'd say overall 3 weeks, something like that. It would take to get everything tested, verified, things like that. 2 to 3 weeks at most.
Great. Well, Mike, thank you so much for going over all of that with us today. I know there's a lot of people on the line who have reached out to us previously about reports and, getting something going. So it was really great that you could jump on and outline what you do and, how you really can dig in and customize things for our clients. So we do appreciate all of your hard work on that. And again, taking time out of your busy schedule today to give us this presentation.
That's all right. The only thing I plan after today is go to sleep.
Daylight savings still caught up with you, huh?
Well, I had a very late night. I'm on a weird schedule.
No
my
worries.
wife is on second shift, so I don't get much. I go to bed at 2 or 3 in the morning. That's why you'll see a lot of my emails coming at 1 in the morning to you.
Hard worker. We like that. All right. Well, I am going to take things back here and share my screen again. Again, thank you so much for going over all of this custom reporting information with us. We do really appreciate it. Very exciting what you have built. It's really great, really useful to, like I said, our clients. And I like your attitude of people say it can't be done. You really strive hard to make sure that it can be. So I appreciate that. And as we close out today, I just wanted to remind everybody of the upcoming Technology Tuesdays on the schedule. We're so excited that this year we're able to bring you more solutions directly from Out of the Box. We love hosting our partners and other third-party apps, but we're so proud of what we've done here at Out of the Box. We're really excited to bring you these. So next week, we have a really exciting session on website design and digital animations. Our in-house graphic designer, Jonathan, will be on the line and demonstrating some of the projects that he's worked on, not only for us, but some of our extremely happy clients. You can see what we can do. We're not just, QuickBooks consultants and reporting specialists. We have so many other facets that we're really excited about. So we hope you can join us next week. And then into April and May, we've got a lot of great sessions coming up. So again, they're all free. We're here every Tuesday at noon, so we hope to see you there. If you have any questions, have a topic that you want to present on, or anything that you want to dive deeper in, do reach out to me. My contact information is there on the screen. And we hope to see you again soon. Thank you so much.